After 7 painful months of waiting, the Glazers are about to get to their senses and make a decision. The past few days have been intense. They have been so intense. The Rain Group has been trapped in boardrooms and meetings, compiling paperwork, going through paperwork with the lawyers representing the two men bidding to buy Manchester United. That is Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Sheikh Jassim. Ladies and gentlemen, as we wait for the final decision to be made, there are big developments happening. Welcome to the hotspot. My name is Webb. Subscribe to the channel now as we do get into this long conversation, continuing to discuss Manchester United, the takeover conversations going on, but also the transfer speculations, and there are new ones that have just come out. Manchester United is planning a double swoop because they have been re-energized by the news I'm about to break to you. My name is Webb again, and guys, go on, subscribe as you do continue to share this link, because it's going to be a long, interesting conversation. I think if you're a Man United lover out there, you've got every reason to be excited about what we are going to be discussing tonight. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are. The guys who are always there waiting online, thank you so much. Let's get proper into this conversation now. After 7 long months of the Glazers playing ping pong, dilly-dallying around and trying to squeeze an extra dime from the guys who want to buy Manchester United, the wanting billionaires, that is Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Sheikh Jassim. Well, after all those months of waiting, well, what is happening now is that the Glazers and their Rain Group have been trapped in meetings, in boardrooms with both camps, the lawyers representing both camps, as they do try to come up with a final and lasting solution to the dilemma we are in. Now, it is reported that they have got a preferred bidder as it is right now. Imminent, close inside sources have revealed that they have clearly got a preferred bidder, and that is one you would want to know ahead of their announcement that is expected to be made before the start of the transfer window on Wednesday. It is most likely going to be happening tomorrow evening, according to reports that are coming in. But the update today is that they have got their preferred bidder of the two, and that is none other than that man who is clear on how much money he wants to spend, but also that man willing to step up a little more and try to get to their valuation of the club. That's none other than Sheikh Jassim. Ladies and gentlemen, the Glazers are believed to be in favor now, in very good favor of the Sheikh Jassim bid for Manchester United. Why? Because according to the reports we are getting, the most recent reports, like I said, they have been trapped in boardrooms with both teams. They are Rain Group, and when I speak the Glazers, I mean the Rain Group. That was the group of the company or the group that was contracted by them to handle this transfer of Manchester United. Now, before it was the Glazers playing ping pong, they were not clear, but just yesterday they did ask both lawyers of both camps to put together their final bids and make them clear and come make one proper final presentation to make for clarity. But it seems after long conversations in the boardrooms, the Glazers feel the Sir Jim Ratcliffe bid, like you and I have been, I think is not exactly clear, whereas it talks of them staying around with at least 20% stake in the club and phasing them out slowly. They do not clearly get a proper understanding of the phasing out and how exactly it is going to be executed. That is according to reports we are getting. We are never in those boardrooms, certainly, but these are the reports, close reports that are coming in. So they feel the bid by Sheikh Jassim is a lot clearer. They feel it's clear, and Sheikh Jassim seems to be willing to step up a little higher to try and meet them somewhere. He wants to meet them somewhere. Now, remember, there's also been clarity on the Sheikh Jassim bid. Now, the clarity is the 6.5 billion US dollars that Sheikh Jassim put on table as a bid for this club is a down payment. It is not part of what is going to invest in renovating and recruitment and stuff. No. What Sheikh Jassim, and this is perhaps the clarity they wanted, the extra £1 billion is going to be separate from the 6.5 billion US dollars. So his bid, what they count as the bid, the money that is going to the Glazers, is 6.5 billion US dollars. Now that was the clarity probably they were seeking, but they still feel they want, Jassim to take it a little higher, to increase a little bit from the 6.5 billion US dollars, to try and meet them where they are with the 6 billion pounds, their 6 billion pounds valuation of the club. So that's the situation. So as we speak right now, Sheikh Jassim is taking a very good lead in this chase for the club, and this has been welcomed so well by Old Trafford, because the staff at Old Trafford, just like the manager who has always claimed and confirmed that he's been in the dark in terms of how much money is available for transfers, that is Eric Ten Hag. The staff as well at Manchester United are also seeing this as good progress in terms of knowing where they are, because I certainly don't want to work for an organization whose future is not clear. So the clarity is something that has been welcomed by the entire Old Trafford and the staff. So there is a lot of expectation and anticipation ahead of what is expected to be tomorrow evening's final pronouncement of the final bid that these Glazers did take. But for now, the breaking news is that the Sheikh Jassim bid makes more sense to the Glazers because of the clarity it comes with, and I think that's what they want. I mean, people want clarity in life. You don't want to be there unsure of what exactly is going to happen. So the clarity and the lack of it in terms of the Sir Jim Ratcliffe bid, the two reasons why we have got this massive development. So this man, as we speak now, is in the lead in terms of bidding for Manchester United. The announcement, the final announcement, like I said, is expected to be made before the opening of the transfer window, and logically that can only be latest tomorrow evening. Again, it is still staying. They are working, to try and beat the clock to make that final announcement once and for all. Of course, Busura Ivan is on and is saying Qatar all the way. Well, Busura, pleased to tell you that, yeah, indeed, Qatar is taking a massive lead in this one. John Pochwanuka is saying, how I wish Sheikh Jassim buys United. Well, interesting stuff. Well, good news for you if you're just joining. I'm reminding you to subscribe to the channel, as I do remind you that there is a huge, massive development that has just come in, that the Sheikh Jassim bid is taking lead. It's the preferred bid by the Glazers because of its clarity, that there is clarity in this bid. They feel that Sir Jim Ratcliffe's bid is not exactly clear, and these are the latest reports coming through. So the clarity has been in the 6.5 billion. Remember, I told you Sheikh Jassim tabled a 6.5 billion bid, and I brought it to you here. Let me try to get it for you again in case you missed it. But I took some time to try and explain to you this Sheikh Jassim bid and what exactly it is and what it meant. Now, Sheikh Jassim's bid was clear that with what in terms of what he wanted. He made a bid of 6.5 billion US dollars plus, that's 6.5 billion US dollars plus 1 billion pounds. Now, the clarity probably the Glazers felt was lacking is the 1 billion pounds. What's the 1 billion pounds? They didn't get it. So the clarity is that as the 6.5 billion dollars is what the Glazers are living with. That is what they are parting with, and that is the bid right there. Never mind me covering the tags and all. I just want you to get and dissect this breaking news and get it proper. So the clarity that the Glazers were seeking was in what this money meant, but also whether there is a possibility of increasing a little on this 6.5 billion dollars to try and come closer to their 6 billion pounds valuation of the club. So the clarity was the 6.5 billion US dollars is what the Glazers will be taking from Sheikh Jassim as the man taking the club. Then the 1 billion pounds is what they are going to spend on what you see listed down there, clearing the debt, and also a lot of other things, mostly redeveloping the stadium and recruitment of players, renovating the neighborhood. So the 6.5 billion is for them is the down payment, if I would call it, for the Glazers to say, guys, to let go of the club. But they feel like because certain things may not fall in the 1 billion because of how big the mess they have made, they feel it should increase a little from the 6.5. They want him to come closer, and I think he's open to that. And I've been saying this, that I think he can actually meet their 6 billion pounds that they want. However much it's a rip-off, but that's big positive news. That's a huge step in the in the attempted purchase of Manchester United. It's a huge significant progress, because at least the Glazers are coming out and trying to give us something, trying to let the world know about where this is pointed. Drew Abdullahi is saying the Qatari group should take over. Yes, indeed, Abdullahi. Indeed, that is what it looks like, and the Glazers seem to be impressed, like most of us have been. Now, this has geared and fueled a lot in terms of Manchester United, and there's so many players the club has been linked to, and there are more who have come up. I'm going to be telling you about those ones in just a bit. But Manchester United is now fired up, and don't you be surprised if sooner rather than later the first official bid is announced. It's going to be an interesting upcoming period, I think, for Manchester United and Erik ten Hag, because the developments happening, I think, are relieving. If you as a fan, you can feel relieved right now at the developments that are coming through, at the fact that we are going to be knowing the owner of Manchester United, the next owner of Manchester United, very soon, and that is most likely going to be before close of business tomorrow, according to what we are getting. The Glazers are now, I think, they are beginning to feel the pressure as the clock ticks to the starting of the transfer window that starts on the 14th on Wednesday. I think the pressure is beginning to mount on them, and that's why they are quick to try and make decisions. So now they are saying, they're giving us something. They are saying they do have a preferred bid, and it is believed after the long, meetings they had in the boardrooms with the teams representing both parties, I think the Sheikh Jassim bid is now taking. They are saying it's taking a huge leap, and it will be certainly one that will be highly considered, and it is the most favored bid right now as we speak. It's going to be, again, it's going to continue developing. This is a developing story that, again, we are continuing to monitor. Like I told you, every day when there's something breaking about Man United, I will be here to give it to you. Now, there's more breaking news coming through at Manchester United, and more transfer speculations as we do talk about this bid, and I'm going to continue to give you of course more details about that bid. But let me also tell you about the news coming through in terms of transfers. Manchester United are linked now. The latest player that Manchester United have been linked to is this young man, Moussa Diaby. Moussa Diaby, I think you've not heard of him. There have been so many speculations and so many players linked to United, but Moussa Diaby is looking like the one now they are focused on. They are pointing at as they do plan a double swoop in the Bundesliga. He's a forward. He plays left-footed forward who currently plays in the Bundesliga. He's a Bayer Leverkusen player, plays under Xabi Alonso, and he's one player who has contributed a lot to Xabi Alonso's impressive performance as coach of Bayer Leverkusen. That left-footed player, if I'm to describe his style, he's a little like Anthony. He's the better version of Anthony, because the things Anthony pretends to do, this boy does with more ease. He does with more ease. He can come deep, in his half. He can play inverted as a left-footed inverted winger. He's mostly a winger, but he can play inverted, but can also play as a natural winger from the left. He loves coming back and being involved in play with his left foot. He's so fast. He's electric. He's a beauty to watch. No wonder he contributed 14 goals and 11 assists in all competitions for Bayer Leverkusen, coached by Xabi Alonso, and has made since 2019 when he joined Bayer Leverkusen. That was from Croton, where he was on loan. He has managed to make 97 goal contributions in 169 games for Bayer Leverkusen. That's amazing. That's amazing for a young footballer like him. He's a French boy, so he's certainly one looked at as a bright future star, and Manchester United are interested in bringing him. Remember, Erik ten Hag made it clear that what he wanted to do at Manchester United is to create competition in all positions, that he wanted to create competition in all positions on the pitch. Now, certainly this boy would give a lot. People have been looking at him as a flop. But this young boy will come in and give him a bit of pressure. So certainly he is looked at as a good prospect for the team. He was named in the Bundesliga Team of the Season. Yes, he was in the Bundesliga Team of the Season, and that is very important. And you, that's to show you how good he was. Now, this was the Bundesliga team of the last season, 2022-2023, and he is up there with his performances in the Bundesliga. He was one of the fastest players in the Bundesliga, and I was telling you about his style. He's a very fast player on the ball. If you watch him, if you watch, I know not so many people watch the Bundesliga. His speed was third in the Bundesliga with 36.5 kilometers per hour. That is his speed. Now, you need that from a winger. You need pace from a winger, and pace disorganizes defenses. And that is exactly what he would add to the Manchester United team. So he was third in terms of speed in the Bundesliga. That's brilliant. He scored 9 goals in the league. I told you across all competitions for Bayer Leverkusen, he scored 14 goals and contributed 11 assists. But in the league alone, he scored 9 goals and assisted 8 times. Now, overall, in terms of goal contributions in the Bundesliga, he was ranked number 6. That is the player. No wonder this young man, this winger, he's priced at about 65 million pounds. That is his valuation according to Bayer Leverkusen. That's how they rate him. But he's a brilliant footballer. Perhaps 65 million pounds is sort of on the higher side, but he is that good, and he's certainly one player Man United are considering to go for. That is if they fail in some of their prospective signings. Now, he's not the only one. As you can see in that team of the season, the team of the season has got 2 black forwards. If you look at it right there, now the other player is the other player Manchester United has been linked with. That is Kolo Muani. Now Kolo Muani is the other player who United are seriously interested in. He was also in the Bundesliga team of the season, and he was one of the better players for Eintracht Frankfurt, if not their best player in the league. He did have the number 1 goal involvements in the Bundesliga, whereas he wasn't the top scorer. That is Rando Kolo Muani, the French star as well. He did have the number 1 goal contributions in the Bundesliga. He scored 13 goals and contributed 10 assists. Now, this boy can score all forms of goals. The typical Thierry Henry goals, penalties. He's good. He's a special kid. And certainly, if you do remember the FIFA World Cup, if you did watch the FIFA World Cup final, and this picture looks familiar, that's the young boy who came on and missed a winner. It was, I think, 3-3 at that time in the dying minutes of the game, and he was put through, and he missed that. That is, I think, one of his most famous moments, because he was almost winning the World Cup for France against Argentina. So that's the player that United are looking at. He's another electric player, and he's certainly one player who is considered as a huge prospective signing for any team that signed him. He's rated at 65 million pounds, and he is wanted by Manchester United. He's one of the other players they are looking at signing. I'm going to tell you more about the other players, but just to take you back, for those who are just joining us, I can see you coming and of course joining in. For those of you who are just joining us, the breaking news is that the Glazers have named their preferred bid, not their final bid, but their preferred bid, and that is the Sheikh Jassim bid that most of us here are interested in seeing take over Manchester United. Comments going back. Emmanuel Ogbu is saying, I love you, brother. Thank you, my brother. Busura Ivan saying, come on, guys. More likes for the show. Well, guys, talk to them. But yeah, we will, let's keep doing it. We do it for the love of Manchester United, don't we? Drew Abdullahi says that Sheikh must take over to build Manchester United. See, Manchester City just won the treble. If Manchester United want to win trophies again, it is under the Qatari group, and Jim and the Glazers is a bad deal. I can't say it any better. Guys, the football has changed. I think the cheese has moved. That today, back then, I think one of the things as United supporters we used to brag about was the fact that for us, we would not buy titles, we would build and stuff, which was good, but things change. Years ago, there was no TikTok, there was no social media and stuff, things change, the cheese moves. So if things change and you don't change, you're going to get problems, and that is what is bound to happen to Manchester United if they stick to the greedy Glazers. So certainly the approach has got to change. If you're going to compete with teams who will spend billions and billions of money investing in players on the pitch, players, how much money has Man City invested in their whole rebuild and their project? Every season they're buying new players. Well, United has spent as well, but they have just been wasting, if I would call it, for lack of a better word. I showed you before how much money Manchester United has lost in compensation of sacked managers post Alex Ferguson. So they have also been spending, but their spending is negligible because it's been wastage for the most part since Sir Alex Ferguson left. So certainly, if you're going to compete with Manchester City, compete with Newcastle, compete with Chelsea, the cheese has moved. You've got to spend. That is simply that. There's no other way to look at it. You either spend or you spend. You understand? So I think there is no shame in Man United wanting to be taken over by guys who will make them spend, guys who are willing to spend billions in player recruitment, in refurbishing Old Trafford to be able to host big games again. We haven't hosted a big final in a long time. In a long time, it hasn't happened. That shows you how terrible Old Trafford is. We are losing. We are way behind the best stadiums in the world. So certainly it's going to be painful seeing United go that way. So for me, I don't care whether they are oil rich. Of course, the talk will be, but that's the order of the day today. If you're going to compete with Man City, you've got to spend, perhaps not like them, but almost close to how they spend. So that's the way the game has changed today. So certainly for me, I have no issues, no reservations, no disquiets about the idea of spending money and or being bought by the Qataris, the filthy rich billionaires. It can only be good for Manchester United. It's a good thing. If United are going to be competitive again, they have got to spend, and you spend what you have, not speculations. Right now, Eric Ten Hag is limited. Even United, we've been linked to a lot of players, Mason Mount, there is more. Even Onana now is among the players we've been linked to. Andre Onana, the goalkeeper from Inter Milan, who had a beautiful final in that Champions League final. He's another goalkeeper we have been linked to because, again, as we all know, that Ten Hag is so intentional in clearing the goalkeeping problem. Now, United are keeping their options open because there is no final money for them to spend. They have not clearly tabled any cash yet, so they are open. So with that final that Onana had, certainly he sold himself. But the issue with Onana is that first of all, he's a bit pricey, if you ask me. 65 million euros is how Inter Milan is rating him, is what they want. But most importantly, he's a top target for Chelsea. And if you've been around a bit, you know that Chelsea has got good relationships with Inter Milan. So that's the advantage they could have over us. But for me, I wouldn't be so worried about that. So long as Diogo Costa is coming in, I think we would be sorted. I don't really think we will get it wrong with the goalkeeper. United never gets it wrong with goalkeepers. For me, goalkeeping is not something that gives me headache, to be honest, for United. That's why for me, whichever goalkeeper they bring, and it's most likely going to be Diogo Costa, but for me, even if it's not him for any reason, for me, whichever goalkeeper United brings in, I'll be comfortable because I know we never get it wrong. If you go back from history, from the Peter Schmeichels of this world to the Van der Sars of this world, even David De Gea himself, of course, Barthez wasn't the best of goalkeepers, but he was a good goalkeeper for Manchester United. We never get it wrong with goalkeepers. So for me, that's one department I'm not worried about. The only departments that could give you some little bit of a headache are the attacking departments. But with our options now clear, we've got, I think, good complete options that we are looking at. They might look a bit pricey, but I think they are good options. If we do have the Sheikh Jassim money coming in, for me, certainly, I do believe we can point at any player, and certainly it will be a whole different ball game for Manchester City next season. Go on and slide into the comment section and let's keep conversing. I'm seeing more gentlemen coming through here. Luze podcast saying blessings, brother. I see Busura Ivan saying What's your take on the venture of Napoli replacing Sancho? Well, speaking about Sancho, there is talk and proper talk that Tottenham Hotspurs have registered an interest in Jadon Sancho. This is according to latest reports coming through. Now, Sancho is apparently priced at about £60 million by Manchester United. I'm not sure Spurs in their right mind would spend all that much on Sancho in his current state. Of course, he has got a young contract, and certainly maybe that could be part of the reasons, and he's a young footballer. And he's certainly one player who has shown signs of development. He's not off. Sancho is not a Maguire for me. I think there is no coming back for Maguire. Sancho is a brilliant player. I think we can still get to see the Sancho for that we saw at Borussia Dortmund. The thing though is, I think, to be honest, and this is the problem again you get when the Glazers fail to make decisions early. That right now the coach is being pressured into signing players who could be important in his plans, selling players who would be important in his plans, just to try and collect some money to spend, because the clock is ticking. And I think it's a bad position to be. I mean, we are going to end up losing good players we need, just because Ten Hag wants to clear certain big problems, and the only way he can do that is if he sells a few players and collects some bit of money. There is talk of Victor Lindelof being wanted by Eintracht Frankfurt. Terrible. I think Lindelof has been a good deputy for Lisandro Martinez and Rafael Varane. I think he came in there and fitted in so well. I think that would be a mistake. But do you blame Ten Hag if you want to sign the Napoli centre-back, Kim Min-jae, and the only way you've got to fund that move is by selling selling Victor Lindelof? Would you blame him? Would you blame him if it were you, to be honest? I think his hands are tied. He needs to do something. You need a centre-back, a serious centre-back. Yes, you need Lindelof around, but you need a centre-back more. So if the only option is to sell him, you sell him. And is that what we want for United? Solving one problem and creating another? I don't think so, because Lindelof has been there. He has been growing. He has been improving. So for me, I think the situation the Glazers are trying to leave the club in, I don't know that it's on purpose that they are trying to leave the club in a mess, but I think it's not good for the club. Now, same thing with the talk of selling Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho, yeah, he's not there where he was from Borussia Dortmund, but he's not a flop yet. He's growing. He's a developing player, and I actually think he could be one of our best players next season, to be honest. I think he'll have built more confidence. The focus will be off him. I think we can see still need to watch him for 1 or 2 more seasons, because he's a young footballer. Never write off a young player. So for me, I think I don't even want to hear it that Spurs are interested in Jadon Sancho. I don't think Sancho should be joining the list of players we want to sell. I'm okay seeing Scott McTominay go. I might be cool seeing Fred go. I'm very cool. Of course, I would celebrate the day Harry Maguire leaves. I would be okay seeing Anthony Elanga go. I would say I would be fine seeing Van der Beek go, though I think they haven't been fully patient with him. But yeah, I would be cool seeing him go. Do I think Jadon Sancho needs to go? I don't think so. I think that would be quite unfair on him. But I wouldn't blame Ten Hag, because he has got bigger problems to solve and he needs money. I just showed you the 2 forwards he's targeting. Moussa Diaby from the Bundesliga, from Bayer Leverkusen, and the other Bundesliga forward, the fellow Frenchman, Kolo Muani, are both rated at 65 million euros. Actually, Diaby is rated at 65 million pounds, whereas the other guy is rated at 65 million euros. That is Kolo Muani. So, do you blame him if he's trying to solve a striking problem and he's trying to let go of certain players like Jadon Sancho? You wouldn't. But is that the ideal? Is that what would be what would want to hear? No, I don't think so. Twahiri Mwasupi is saying Qatar is good deal if it's true story. Yes, it is a true story, guys. I don't come here to tell you lies, guys. It's a true story. I don't come here to waste people's time. It is a very true story that the what's coming out now is that the Glazers have been impressed by the bid. I think after giving it time and assessing it, I think they paused for a moment, and that is the Rain Group that is representing them in terms of handling this transfer. They made it clear to them that Sheikh Jassim's bid can be a little better, so there is a bit of improvement in terms of their attitude towards it, so they feel it is the preferred bid for them. Opolot Sadiq says, please tell me about Manchester United transfers now. I just told you, probably you've just joined Opolot, but it doesn't hurt. United are interested in signing Moussa Diaby. Is a French forward. He plays as a winger, can play both from the left and from the right. He's left-footed, he's pacey. He was the third fastest player in the Bundesliga last season with a speed of 36.2 kilometers per hour. That was number 3. He was number 6 in terms of goal contributions in the Bundesliga, contributing scoring 9 goals, that is for his club Bayer Leverkusen, and contributing 11 assists. Now that made him third on the list of goal contributions in the Bundesliga. That's the man we are talking about, and he's also the same man you are looking at right there. So that's the youngster who you can try to liken to Anthony Dos Santos, but this is a better version of Anthony. He's an improved Anthony. He does things with more flair and ease. He's a more skillful, more talented, more effortless Anthony. So I think he would be a good addition to the club. He can come deep and pick the balls. He can dodge and turn, twist and dance and turn around defenses. He's brilliant. He's a beauty to watch. But United is also interested in Kolo Muani. There's been talk of Manchester United being interested in Onana, the goalkeeper from Inter Milan. I just said I think Chelsea are taking the lead in that one. But this is the other player, Kolo Muani, the French guy from Frankfurt. That's the guy who missed that could have been a winning goal in the World Cup final for France. He has won his 9 caps for France. So certainly it shows you why he's a brilliant footballer. Then United has also been linked to David Raya, the goalkeeper from Brentford. But again, I don't want to dwell so much on the goalkeepers, because I do know for a fact that United are going to sign Diogo Costa. But Raya is also a top target for Tottenham Hotspur, and they have been in the lead to sign him. So I also wouldn't have a lot of expectations in Raya. I also think they are overpricing him. He's priced at about £40 million. I feel like that's a bit high, on the high side, but we have got better options. But for me, like I said, if there is one department I'm not worried about, it's the goalkeeping department. We never get it wrong with goalkeepers. Remind me, if you've been around long enough, remind me of the time United had a poor goalkeeper. I think the worst goalkeeper you could have had in recent times was Fabian Barthez. But again, I would not rate him as a bad goalkeeper. I was saying the worst because of in terms of comparing him with the others who are there before him, from Peter Schmeichel, before and after him. Peter Schmeichel, if I'm to rate the best goalkeepers United has had, I think I would have Peter Schmeichel on the top. I think in the ones I watched, at least, Peter Schmeichel, I would have Van der Sar. I would be torn between Van der Sar and Schmeichel, who I would put on top. But because of the treble season in 1999, I would put I think Schmeichel on top. And you can give me your opinion on that. Peter Schmeichel, I think, would be number 1. Van der Sar number 2. I would have De Gea as number 3. At his best, he was better than Barthez, and I would have Barthez as number 4. But none of those goalkeepers was bad. So for me, whereas the reports are linking us to Onana and so many other goalkeepers, now David Raya from Brentford and Kobel, who was the best goalkeeper in the Bundesliga, the Borussia Dortmund goalkeeper, they had spoken earlier before. Earlier speculations spoke of Verbruggen. I don't think from Anderlecht, but I don't think, for me, I would dwell so much on that. I think the goalkeeper we are going to sign is Diogo Costa. I think it's a question of when, not if. It's a matter of us getting the money. And speaking of money, the Glazers might be about to accept their money, at least their rip-off might be paying anytime soon. They could be smiling to the bank because they have chosen a preferred bid, and that is the bid that was tabled by Sheikh Jassim. And we are waiting for an official announcement. It is expected to be given tomorrow evening, before the starting of the transfer window that will be starting the day after tomorrow on the 14th of this month of June. We are going to be having unofficial official communication of what the final stand is from the Glazers. Are they selling or not? But if they turn their backs, if they change their minds and don't sell, there are consequences. There are consequences, because you do not take the world for a ride for 7 months. It cannot happen. This is not a game. So certainly we are waiting to see what exactly will happen. Luyanda Mukonka saying, good evening, how is the takeover issues going? Well, that's what I've just been talking about. And yeah, the Glazers are getting to their senses, and they seem to be attracted by the bid that was tabled by Sheikh Jassim. He is taking a lead. They have been trapped in talks and negotiations. That is, the Rain group representing them has been in boardrooms trying to understand and dissect, go through the paperwork of the final paperwork of both bids, trying to understand, making calls, inquiring, this is lacking, give us clarity on this. Now, it seems as we speak right now that they have been impressed a little bit more by the bid from Sheikh Jassim. Certainly they know who has more money to spend, so certainly right now they will do anything to massage Sheikh Jassim to meet their 6 billion pounds valuation of Manchester United. So that's what is happening, and it is certainly a good developing story. It has been welcomed so well at Old Trafford, because the staff were increasingly pressured because of the lack of clarity, the pressure they had not knowing what exactly is going to happen, and who exactly is going to be taking ownership of their club. All that has been worrying the staff of Manchester United, but at least now they will be relaxed. Now, in terms of transfers, this is a gentleman called Opolot Sadiq saying, brother, I'm watching you live from Soroti City. That's in Uganda. Thank you so much, Opolot Sadiq. And how is Soroti City? I hope it's all going well. Yeah. Let's continue, guys. You keep asking those questions, keep dropping into the comment section, you keep inquiring. Now there's lots of players, like I said, United has been linked with. I think the fact that we don't have a clear direction on which money we want to spend, I think it shows you why we have been linked to so many players. We have time to monitor so many players, and there is also, of course, another link of Vicha Varatchelia. Wow, interesting. Very difficult name to pronounce. Very difficult name. He plays for Napoli, and he's highly rated because people feel if he joined Napoli, he would be one of the best signings. He would be sort of another George Best. He's likened to the great George Best. What an interesting comparison that is coming through here. But Goal does likens him to George Best, the great. You wonder what that would mean, but well, it will be an interesting situation, and he's rated highly. The former Italy forward Christian Vieri did rate him so highly. He has a lot of praise for him, and he has likened him to George Best. He thinks that this man from Georgia could be sensational for United, as he has been for Napoli. But that's the other speculation. He's been linked with a couple of teams, by the way, including Real Madrid and Chelsea, Manchester City, and several other clubs. I'll get his image for you to see him, for those who have never seen him. But he's one of those other young players who have been mentioned. But like I said, Manchester United have been linked to a lot of players, probably because there's not so much money. All we can do right now is to look at players and wish to sign them. And but I think it's a good thing that it gives us time to look at options, not rush. And I think by the time we make the decision, I think there would be no excuse for Erik ten Hag. There is no way he would get it wrong, because I believe he must have had all the time. But the only thing though is if he gets the money so late, if the money comes in so late, then that would be a problem, because then most of the better players could have been taken away. But that's the man there, and in set there you see Victor Osimhen. They have been two of the best players in Napoli en route winning their first Scudetto title in over 30 years, in almost 38 years. So that's the other player that United has been linked with, and I think someone asked about him. So that's a bit of that transfer talk and speculation, the situation. But the big story, the big news we have been all waiting for, we continue to wait for the final big news coming through from Manchester United, but the latest update is that Sheikh Jassim is taking the lead because his bid makes more sense for the Glazers, the greedy Glazers, we should label them going forward. The greedy Glazers who want more, who keep wanting more, have been impressed by the man who clearly has more money to spend because of the clarity in his bid. They feel that there is more clarity in his bid, but also it seems his team is more open to more negotiations. I think, surprisingly, that Sir Jim Ratcliffe is more closed in his bid than Sheikh Jassim. Certainly, I don't think Sir Jim Ratcliffe, no one, regardless him being the richest man in the UK, I don't think he's got his oil banks flowing like, of course, the man from the Qatar royal family. So certainly, it's clear that Sheikh Jassim has got more money to spend, and they do know. That's why they had the audacity of calling Nasser Al-Khelaifi to try and talk to him, to convince him to increase the money and meet the asking price. So the guys clearly seem to be willing to sell. That's a positive. The fact that they could go on and even call Sheikh Jassim, asking him to increase, to convince his countrymen to increase the money, I think it shows you they want to sell. They really want to sell. The only problem is they want more money, and that's why it's taking so long. But guys, we can calm down. We do know for a fact that before the close of this week, and most probably tomorrow, according to again reports coming through, before the start of the window on the 14th on Wednesday, we will be having a final decision, and most likely, as it looks right now, the decision is bent towards Sheikh Jassim. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great time to be a United supporter. Still talking about transfers. Yes, Luyando Mukonka is saying he has heard the rumors of Jadon Sancho going for Spurs. How true? Yes, I spoke about it. I'll say that again. That Manchester United is again a team that certainly, teams like Spurs, let me tell you, we've got so many Spurs. If you look at our squad, by the way, deeply, I think we've got quite a number of players who can be sold off to reasonable clubs and we make some money out of them. Now, I don't think Jadon Sancho is one of them. But let me first answer you, Mukonka, your question. Yes, it is true that Tottenham Hotspurs have registered an interest in Jadon Sancho. Registering means it's intentional. Registering means that they have made it known. So Man United knows that Spurs are interested in Jadon Sancho. So that's what it means, that they have registered an interest. So this is the process. When you're going to sign a player, you first officially register an interest. Just like we know that Arsenal registered an interest for Declan Rice from West Ham United. That's why David Sullivan, the chairman of West Ham, did confirm that he will leave at the end of the season. Not because the Arsenal have made a bid. They registered an interest and they agreed with the player. So they know he will leave. They are just now waiting for an official bid. So Tottenham has registered their interest to United in Jadon Sancho. United rates are open to selling if they are given £60 million. Now, of course, given his form recently, certainly £60 million might be, I think, on the higher side. It shows you that United do not want to sell, but they are saying, if you give us enough money, given the circumstances, we are not sure of how much money we are getting. The only way Ten Hag can have money to sell right now, to buy players right now, is if he sells a few players, because he was assured that if you if you sell players, the money you get you can use to sign new players. So that is why there have been talks of so many players leaving. I don't think a coach in their right mind, in their normal state, under normal circumstances, any manager in the world, the caliber of Erik Ten Hag, would want to sell about 7 players in a single summer. It can't happen. But desperate moments call for desperate measures. So it would be a desperate measure, and that is where the Glazers could be pushing Man United to. They are almost pushing us into a desperate situation where now we are going to let go of players we would need. So Jadon Sancho, imagine, even if it's £60 million, for me, I don't think Sancho has been a flop for United. It shouldn't be up for sale. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't even be a debate. It shouldn't be a conversation we're having. But because of the situation, we have bigger problems to address. We need money, and the clock is ticking. The Glazers do not want to communicate. Good enough they have today. But yeah, so the thing is, these are looked at as avenues of getting some money, so that we at least start signing players as the Glazers sort their business in terms of how much money they want to sell the club and who the next owner will be. So Sancho is wanted by Spurs. They have registered their interest in him. Will United sell? If Spurs is meeting their asking price, perhaps they will. I wouldn't blame Ten Hag right now, even if he said he was selling who who is up. I can't say Casemiro. I think that would be sick. But even if he said he's selling Marcus Rashford to Real Madrid, I wouldn't be surprised, because he needs money to solve bigger problems. If the Glazers stay around, I think United should be selling their best players to get as much money as they can get and split it, and sort problems in the goalkeeping department, the centre back, and in the striking department. So that's what I'm saying, that the takeover situation is becoming a problem. Is becoming a problem. So that's what's coming through when it comes to Jadon Sancho. But I don't think Sancho is leaving United. I don't think it's happening. I think the beauty is that from the latest update we are getting tomorrow, we'll be knowing the final owner of Manchester United. But as we do have it, the latest coming through is that the Glazers have been impressed after listening more and assessing more of the bid that was tabled by Sheikh Jassim. They say they have been impressed more. So right now the ball is looking and pointing to Sheikh Jassim even more. Sir Jim Ratcliffe's bid lacks clarity. There is no clear clarity. The way we are saying it, the way we see it is probably how they see it as well. But the lack of clarity and detail, but also it's more rigid. It's as if cast on stone now for Jim Ratcliffe. He can't go further than that. That is why the Glazers decided to call Nasser Al-Khelaifi, that's the PSG president. No, because they know that if Sheikh Jassim could table an increased bid, his fifth bid was increased by close to £1 billion. It shows you he has more. His tap can still flow and meet their valuation. But also the clarity they got that the 6.5 billion would be the down payment, then the £1 billion is the separate payment. $6.5 billion plus £1 billion. That was the fifth bid made by Sheikh Jassim. So they got a clearer understanding, because the Rain Group has been locked in meetings with the two bidders, the lawyers from the two camps bidding. So this bid is taking a lead, and most likely it might be the leading bid right now, and it might be the one that will be announced before the end of this week. So that is big news coming through, and Old Trafford has welcomed it with open arms. They feel that this is good news, that at least there is now some more bit of clarity. But also there is hope, and it has also re-energized and I think brought a certain level of energy in terms of our quest to sign players. Our transfer has been re-energized, so now we can go back to our first and major options. Before, I feel like some of the players we've been linked to in recent days have been the cheaper options, that is the second or third options of players. But right now already we are going back. I think Moussa Diaby could be one of our preferred players, because he's a brilliant player. Like I told you, he was one of the best players in the Bundesliga. He was in that team of the season. That's the player right there, Moussa Diaby. He's a French guy. He's a winger, but can play inverted on the left and on the right, and he can drift back. He plays like he's the better version of Anthony Dos Santos, and he's faster. He was the third fastest player in the Bundesliga. But also United is interested in Colomwani. They were both in the best team of the Bundesliga. Colomwani, Rando Colomwani, they are both Frenchmen, by the way. And United is also interested in a French centre-back, that is Axel Disasi. So this, for me, I think have been the top targets in terms of going forward. I think they were the second options. I think the first option for United has always been Harry Kane, Victor Osimhen, and then these two are coming there in terms of forwards. But they are always going to be more expensive. So you needed a Sheikh Jassim funding for you to be able to go and table bids or register interest in those. Now that United had got desperate, they started looking at the Rasmus Højlunds of this world and all these other younger players. and cheaper options that they have been mentioning, that they have been linked to. But I think the first priorities, I think, are the ones the club is focusing on now, and I think the news we are getting has made it even better for Man United. Someone is asking again, seeing Anolin Aliguma saying De Gea could be leaving. Is it right for United? Yes, I think if he leaves, you're guaranteed United is bringing in another goalkeeper who most likely is going to be Diogo Costa. But even if he doesn't leave, Diogo Costa will come in. The only way David De Gea will stay at United is if he takes the terms that are being given to him by Man United, a huge pay cut and not being guaranteed of first team football. That's the only way. It's either that or he leaves. So Ten Hag at this point is saying he can lose him. That's why United is being linked to a lot of goalkeepers. Diogo Costa is the front runner, and I think it's 90% he's the goalkeeper United is going to sign. Onana has emerged now as another, the Inter Milan goalkeeper, but Chelsea are in advanced stages of signing him. They are contemplating a bid for him. He's priced at 65 million euros. So Chelsea, and also knowing their relationship, Chelsea's relationship with Inter Milan. So Chelsea are now seem to be having the advantage in terms of Onana. So Onana might be a speculation, not much of a goalkeeper we are interested in. We have also been linked to Raya. That's the David Raya. That is the Brentford goalkeeper. But he's also wanted by Spurs, and I think Spurs is advanced stages. The only thing stopping Spurs now from tabling a bid is the fact that they feel he's a bit pricey. They feel that he's a bit overpriced. But yeah, those are the players we are linked to. Then in other departments, those are the goalkeepers. But like I said, for me, goalkeeping should not be a problem for United. We never get it wrong with goalkeepers. I think that's one area we are good. We never do get it wrong with goalkeepers. We always get it right. So for me, I think that shouldn't be a problem, the goalkeeping department. So whichever goalkeeper comes in, most likely Diogo Costa, we should be celebrating. When are these family hand over? Okay, Madiak Dak saying, when are these family going to hand over the club to the new owner? Well, it will be before the end of this week. We will know who the new owners are. And it is also, by the way, known that the new owners will take over immediately. Especially if it's Sheikh Jassim, he will take over immediately because already I think they have their plan in place. They have recruited their team. They know their team. You wait and see. I think after next week, I think the first and the second week of the transfers are going to be so busy for United. They are going to be so interesting because a lot is going to happen. Sheikh Jassim has his plan in place. He knows what he wants to do. Remember, he's a London boy. He grew up in London but supported United. Of course, United is in Manchester. But Manchester is, I think, about 3 hours on a train. Not that he takes a train, but from London to Manchester, there are 3 or 4 hours. So so he grew up in the UK. That's the whole point I'm making, and he has always been a United supporter. So it is known that he knows his way around football in the UK because he even goes and watches Man United games as a fan. So he knows his way around. The guys who could run the club around, and already I think they have been working on the team that will come in. So Jassim is so confident and his team, and now they have been re-energized because their bid is taking a proper lead in this race with the Ineos bid that is from Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Oneni Colini says more on Mount. Now, the Mason Mount situation. Mason Mount is one player who we have been so consistently interested in. We've been so serious about him. But again, the lack of clarity, the lack of funds is costing us making the first moves. I think what happened is that Manchester United went and had conversations with Mason Mount and they convinced him they are coming for him. The player wants to leave Chelsea. His contract ends next season, at the end of next summer, at the end of next season. Now, he has 1 year left on his contract. He wants to leave the club. Chelsea want to keep him around, or they want to get at least £70 million for him. Now, Man United value him at most £50 million. They feel, actually, I think for me, even £50 million is on the high side. But it's okay. If we got him, he's only 24, he's a good footballer. But Chelsea want to, I think, try. It's the same case of what we'll do with, I think, Jadon Sancho and Spurs if they came. That we are pricing him at 60 million, but that's a sign that we don't want to sell. But if someone gives us that money, we can say, okay, let's do it for the money. That's the same case with Chelsea and Mount. I think Mount is being overpriced, and United do not feel like he's worth 70 million pounds. So that's why the United feels he's worth about 50 million pounds. So there is that. But again, the lack of clarity on the funding, because Ten Hag has been left in the dark in terms of how much money is available for us to spend. So the lack of commitment and funds is slowing down these processes. But right now, the other teams are moving. Liverpool is signing players. They already unveiled McAllister. Aston Villa has unveiled Tielemans. I mean, the other teams are doing business, but for us we are not, because there is no money. So that's why we are trying to look for all avenues to get money. Don't be surprised if we sell a player who is not even wanted out soon, just to try and get some money and finance our transfers. So that's a bit of the situation. But yeah, I think I did answer that. So the Mason Mount situation, we are still interested in him, but we are waiting for the funds. But also, we are hoping that Chelsea do bring down admit, because we can't spend 75 million pounds on Mount, let alone given that he's got 1 year left on his contract. I think that would be bad business. I don't think that can happen in this time of Eric Ten Hag. Madiak Dak saying, I will be the happiest person the day he will become boss. A Man United diehard fan from South Sudan. Yes, how are you and gentlemen in South Sudan, Madiak? Thank you so much for being a United fan. We are all about United. And I'm seeing Anolin Aliguma saying, is Mbappe possible if we get... Yes, it is said, and these are reports, rumors. Now, this is of course a rumor, but yeah, rumors become true after some time. I think transfers are about rumors and speculations. Now, it is said that in his plan, I told you that Sheikh Jassim has got a plan laid down with his team in terms of what he wants to do. In fact, there are reports that have said that somehow his guys have even contacted Ten Hag and stuff. But it is said that the plan is, because remember, PSG is losing their key players. I think even, whereas Mbappe is a legend in France, he would want to leave PSG now if a good shooter comes, because PSG's project is shaking. They are unsettled now. That's why they are losing players, and they are sort of rebuilding. So you can't go from playing with Neymar and Messi and then play with who? So I think Mbappe would want a new challenge. But United would be a good challenge for him. Imagine if he arrived at United. I think he would solve half of the problems the club has. So what is happening is that it is said that Sheikh Jassim feels Mbappe is one of the players his team will look at when they do come in to sign. But of course, those are rumors. Let's first clear the elephant in the room. That is the ownership issue. But I think if Sheikh Jassim took over Man United, Mbappe to Man United would be a possibility. And to be honest, you can't even try to debate about whether United needs Mbappe or not. I think that is trying to be too analytical. I think Mbappe would be needed by any team that can afford to have him. He's that good a player. He's the best player in the world right now, and he's young. So for me, but I wonder how much it would cost. Whereas we would have a lot of money, we would end up having to spend all the money we have on buying him alone. So yeah. Onen Colin saying more on the Napoli defender, that is Kim Min-jae. Yes, the Napoli defender Kim Min-jae did say his goodbyes to his Napoli teammates. He's wanted by United. He's priced at about 45 million pounds. United feels that's not high. I think too. He was the best defender in the Bundesliga with I think 25 clean sheets. He was one of the top performers in the Bundesliga, but the best defender in the Bundesliga. He won that award for best defender. So he's certainly one of the best defenders in the world. He's a giant of a player. He's energetic. His pace is good on the ball. He's brilliant to watch. I do believe he will come right in and sit into that centre back position. But he's apparently Napoli are trying to tie him to a contract extension so that United can pay more. I think they feel like 45 million, because that is what is in his release clause. They feel like it's on the low side. So they want to try and quickly sign him to a contract extension so that if United, who seem to desperately want him, when they come, the asking price is more. That's a strategy that Napoli is known to want to do. And you know, these Italian clubs can be smart. But I think the player wants to leave. I think he will leave, and I think he's one of. I think if there are three players, uh, I think we are taking the lead on, or that we are close. We will sign the moment we sort some of these issues. Diogo Costa, the goalkeeper, and Kim Min-jae. For me, those ones are, I think, ones we can have. For Mount, it will depend on Chelsea, but also the player might want to force, to force a move away. I believe that he has got the upper hand. The fact that he wants to leave and he has got a year left on his contract and United want him, I think the 20 million difference between the two clubs, I think eventually Chelsea would back off. I think they would relent and accept, because you don't want to fail. If United doesn't sign him now and the player leaves for free next season, how much sense would that make for Chelsea? I think it wouldn't. So I think those are the players we are most closely linked to, but also the two German guys. I think we could sign at least one of the two. That is the two French guys playing in Germany. The Frankfurt striker, that is Rando Kolomwani, and the Bayer Leverkusen winger or forward, that is Moussa Diaby. I think we'll sign one of the two. I think most likely. Again, guys, continue subscribing and turn on your notifications, because I will be again continuing to give you updates about Man United, but also most importantly, the biggest thing now we are following about United is the ownership issue, and we do have the latest update saying that we are United. The Glazers are impressed by the bid from Sheikh Jassim because of the clarity it has. It has more clarity, and there is also more room. There is a window for them to negotiate for more. It is more open to increment and trying to get close to their £6 billion valuation than Sir Jim Ratcliffe is. So that is according to what we are getting. Anoline Aliguma asking, Webb, what's up with Caicedo to United? I think United is interested in Caicedo, it has been said, but I think Arsenal are taking the lead in terms of this race for Caicedo. I think Arsenal are in a good lead for this one. They have been, they even believed to have approached Brighton way before. Brighton have been sure. Their coach Disabi made it clear that at the end of the season that McAllister and Caicedo would leave, and quickly we saw McAllister join Liverpool. I do think Caicedo is also going to leave. Do I think he's going to join us, Man United? I think he has made his decision that he wants to play for Mikel Arteta at Arsenal. He feels like Arteta is the coach who will develop him more as a player. So I don't think United is going to sign Moses Caicedo. And to be honest, I don't care if we sign Caicedo. I don't think he's one player who should give us sleepless nights right now. Our biggest issues to sort for me are the goalkeeping department, central defense department, and the striking department. If we sort those, Caicedo would be an add-on. Remember, he's a pricey player. Do you want to spend close to 80 or 75 million pounds on Caicedo before getting a striker? Tell me what you think. I don't think, for me, that would be good business. I think you solve your biggest problems, because we are not going to sign and sort all departments in one summer. I think we need to sort department per department. I don't think the first department we want to sort is the central defensive department. We did sort that in the last window, and we saw the impact Casemiro brought. I do not think it's one department we should be rushing to in a time like this, when we have so many other areas to sort. So that's why I think, for me, Caicedo can go to Arsenal or even Chelsea if he wants. I don't think he's the player who would be thinking of now. Rather, Madiak Dak asking about, what about Greenwood's case? Will he go on loan? Well, the decision too is about to be made, and I do believe these two decisions will be made, I think, in situ or in close succession on Mason Greenwood. So the decision for Mason Greenwood depends fully on the Glazers, because remember, the boy was acquitted by the Manchester police, but the Glazers felt that they didn't want to risk their source of money, their money sources, that is the sponsors. So they launched their own independent investigation as United, as if they are the police now. But yeah, they did, and we are waiting for the findings. It is believed they will be also, before they announced the takeover of the club, they will have made a decision on Mason Greenwood, because the new owners would want to come in on a clean slate, all decisions made, and have a proper restart. Greenwood, I think, first of all, they will announce whether he will return. I do think United need Greenwood. Greenwood is a young player. and you don't lose a young promising player like him who has scored goals for the club at his young age. I think he made mistakes, but he was acquitted. He's even getting married to the same girlfriend who did report him for violence with the counts that he was charged. They failed to get people to give evidence. I mean, they're getting married. The girlfriend is expectant. That is it Harrison? Barbara Harrison, I think that's the name. So I don't think United have any reason to lose Mason Greenwood. More so at a time like this when the biggest problem United wants to solve is a striking problem. You don't lose a prospective striker, a young, good, promising striker like that when he has about 2 years left on his contract. I don't think that would be smart. But again, the Glazers don't care about the football, do they? So wait and see. If he had been found guilty, that would be a whole different conversation. But if he was acquitted of the charges, well, United needs the player. It's the football first for me. Sun94 saying, I think the Glazers will choose Qatar. Yes, I think so too, and everyone thinks so. Everyone hopes so. I think you're right. Then Soccer, I think, is a hater. He's saying Man City better than what? I'm not sure. But yeah, they are better because they won a treble. Well, we know that. That's why you better pray Jassim doesn't take over Man United. Soccer must be a Man City fan. But yeah, interesting. Thank you, Soccer or Sosa, for that comment. And there is more comments here from, who is this? Benson Mabali Daka saying, give me the update of the takeover. Sancho is okay. I did give you that update on the takeover. And Anolina Liguma, De Gea could be leaving. Yes, he could. And yeah, so many comments coming through, guys. Thank you for all the comments that you've dropped in there. We do continue to monitor this story concerning the takeover of Manchester United. Also, we do continue to monitor the story concerning the transfers and which players we are linked to. Erik ten Hag has got a boost in terms of news, and yeah, we are waiting to see what exactly is going to happen. But we are here, and of course the latest breaking news I've told you in terms of the takeover is that the Glazers have been impressed by the Sheikh Jassim bid, and they are expected to make the announcement before the opening of the transfer window. But also it has been revealed that United made, by the way, a bid for William Saliba from Arsenal, but the player is history because he penned a new contract extension with the Gunners. But United had expressed interest because they saw him as an option in their centre-back problems. But there is of course a lot going on. The breaking news in terms of transfer has been Moussa Diaby, who has emerged as another serious runner or front runner for Manchester United to sign. And of course other players like Onana have been mentioned, the goalkeeper from Inter Milan. But like I said, Chelsea are in the lead to sign Onana. I don't think that's a signing we should be thinking a lot about or should be excited about. So that's a bit of what's happening. Anolin Aliguma says we need to release 6 players this summer. I think Fred, McTominay, Maguire have to leave. Yeah, I do think we need to release Maguire. That's a given. Whether we sell the club, whether the club remains the way it is, whether we sell it to Jim Ratcliffe, which is not going to happen, or Sheikh Jassim, whatever the case, the first thing we need to do is to let go of Maguire. He doesn't want to go. There is an option in his contract of paying him to go. If we have to do that, I'm telling you, we have money issues, but I think that's something United should do. Pay him to leave. I think I wouldn't mind. Maguire has got to leave Manchester United. For his own good, by the way. It's not even about the fans, or it's for him. If he's going to play football again, if he's going to play for England, he should be rushing to go to teams like Spurs that are flattering him. But Maguire has got to leave. Now, for the other departments, I think we don't want to let go of so many players before we are sure of how much money we are going to have in the transfers. But the moment Sheikh Jassim is announced as the owner of Manchester United, proper, certain players should just go. McTominay should follow Maguire. Who else? I'm torn when it comes to Fred, to be honest. And I do think he's good. I do think he's not our best player. But I feel like United, rather Fred is a Manchester United footballer. He's a proper typical Manchester United player. I feel like he's got the heart for the team. I feel like even when he has a bad game, you feel like he gives in his best. I think he has saved us in a couple of games. I think, for me, unless he wants to leave, if Fred doesn't really want to leave, I think he can stay around for at least one more season. That's my honest opinion. I don't exactly have so many issues with Fred. I think he does his best. He puts in the hard yards. Does he make mistakes at times? And yeah, does he fail to control the ball properly sometimes? Yeah. But I think if I'm to rate Freddie's performance for Manchester United since he joined, I think I would give him a cool 60%. And for me, that's fair enough for a player to stay under the circumstances we are in. So, Anolin Aliguma, I wouldn't have sleepless nights or cry and over the departure of Fred, but if we can keep him around for a season, I would be happy. I think he can contribute because he can play both in central defensive roles, but also he can play as a number 10. So for me, he can play second fiddle, more so given the fact that we are back in the Champions League and we are going to play so much football next season. And I think the Premier League is going to be more intense next season. The competition is going to be broader from all clubs. Newcastle is recruiting, name them. I think you need to have a more deeper squad. I think Fred can stick around. He can contribute a couple of minutes to us. That's what I think. He's okay. He said we need to lose about 6 players. There are so many. Van de Beek, of course, I agree. Van de Beek can go. He hasn't contributed. Anthony Martial, I think, should be one of the first players who follow Maguire. Good player, but he has even lost his confidence because he's not getting playing minutes. He's always on the sick bed, in the medical room. I don't think Weghorst is a given. He's not coming. Bailey can go. Brandon Williams is on Twitter, trending on Instagram. But yeah, that one can go. But I don't think we want to lose so many players at once. Well, we can loan out a few, like maybe Elanga can be loaned out. We can loan out. Even Brandon Williams is still young, but well, I'm not sure he can give us so much anyway. That one can go. We can loan out even Van de Beek. I think can be good for a loan. I believe. Yeah, we don't want to lose so many of our players. I don't think it would be a huge risk to lose so many players at the same time. For me, I think we need to take it slow. Let us not be so excited. Let us not be so emotional. Let us be smart about our moves right now. If we are going to go on and have a good season, so for me that's a bit of that's what I think. But yeah, you can give me your opinion, guys. But that's the news. I think Ahmad should return. I think he will return. I agree. I think we need him. I think can be play second fiddle in the as an attacking option that we can have, or a creative option. I think he will return. I do 100% think he will return, and I agree with you, Anolin Aliguma. Yeah. For me, I think, guys, that's it. You've got the news. So we'll be getting to know who the owner of Man United is. The news that has come in is that it is tending towards Sheikh Jassim. And I think as United supporters globally, you should be happy and excited about that possibility, because that is exactly what we do want to hear. My name is Webb. I've got to be leaving you guys at this. I will be back any minute, but also watch out for my next videos, of course, as I keep bringing you the news concerning Manchester United, the takeover, the transfers, the speculations, and everything concerning the biggest football club in the world. Thank you everyone for being a part of it. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and good night for those of you who are about to retire. My name is Webb. This is the Hotspot. Thank you. Anolin saying, thanks bro for the analysis. Oh, thank you. Thank you everyone who has been a part of it. But we've got to end it here. Let me just go and try to get you some more updates, because this is the peak time when the stories keep coming in. Just stay around. Keep subscribe if you haven't. Turn on the notification. We are here every day. Every day we are here talking Man United. Videos coming through, but also live updates, live breaking news that is just coming in. You can only get it right here and in real time on the Hotspot. So subscribe,